I don't know about everyone else, but I am just bouncing around here with excitement. And I'm hoping now that Kate Hoey is going to bring us down to earth. Kate is going to be speaking against the motion. Kate, former Labour MP, 30 years distinguished service, born in Northern Ireland, served in Tony Blair's government, independent-minded Kate. She defied the Labour whip on, as you heard, banning fox hunting and against the Iraq war, and she was a leading campaigner for Leave in the referendum. Kate.
Thank you, and it is a pleasure to be here, and I hope that I'm going to actually cheer you all up after that slightly depressing speech by my ex-constituent, Mr. Self. Mind you, he's never been so miserable that he had to come and see me about any problems, so that's fine. And it's lovely to be on the same stage as, on the opposite side as Peter Hitchens, because Peter and I share, I think I'll share a little secret that I think we both, it's not really a secret, we were both trots in a long time ago. And we have moved, as you can see, politically. No, it is a great pleasure to be here, and I'm very proud tonight to speak up for my country, and I'm making it very clear I'm speaking up for the United Kingdom, because Great Britain excludes Northern Ireland, and Northern Ireland, of course, is one of the best parts of the United Kingdom. And I want to say just very clearly at the beginning, I'm very patriotic. I love my country. I cherish being British. I cherish being able to be a citizen of this country. And I get quite emotional, I'll be honest, when I see the Union flag being raised and I hear the national anthem being played. And I'm not ashamed of that, and I don't think any of us should be. But of course, tonight, we don't have to prove on this side that the United Kingdom is the greatest country in the world. The question really is, are we one of the great countries? And it really isn't a value judgment either on regarding a country. I don't think there's any kind of nationalist exaggeration to regard a country which has had a profound influence, whatever Will may have said, on the entire course of history as a great one. And of course, importantly, great is not a value judgment, meaning good. China is a great country, but I would very much detest its political system. Russia could be considered to be a great country, and we mustn't forget that it was British people who wrote the constitution of one of the greatest countries in the world, and they certainly think they are anyway, the United States of America. And when we then go to look at this, to me, absolutely fundamental to this whole debate is that we are a great democracy. From at least the 13th century on, there have been efforts and campaigns and wars to rein in the powers of government and to establish the primacy of the rule of law. And our greatest claim to greatness, I believe, is that we have created a fiercely democratic society that treasures the liberties our ancestors fought for and died for over many, many centuries. And we have seen, I know we probably don't want to talk about it, but we have seen a great example of that recently. Our political system delivered a referendum result that most of our political leaders and the dominant intellectual, academic, and legal class have been unable to stop. And they certainly tried to stop it. And the people showed that they were prepared to actually give quite a beating to a party that had tried to stop that referendum result. Our country is one of the most free, open, and tolerant societies in the world, and a welcoming country, whatever anyone says, to outsiders. And perhaps that's why people from all over the world, living in oppressed countries, living under dictatorships, living in wars-torn countries, dream of still coming to this country as a refuge. And if we look at what's happening at the moment in the English Channel, why are all those little boats filled with migrants, most of them with no relatives here whatsoever? Why are they coming from a safe country, France, to the British shore? our sense of freedom, fairness, and justice, and of the opportunities our society offers of building a new life free from fear. That's what's bringing them. British greatness extends, of course, far beyond the British Isles, and this is where I feel very strongly. We belong to a global family of nations, unlike any other, the Commonwealth, a creation of genius, expressing the sense of tolerance and shared values, championed by Her Majesty the Queen throughout her reign. Still, countries with only slender connections to the United Kingdom are queuing up to join this remarkable reinvention of a worldwide empire which we had as a free association of independent yet interdependent nations, committed to work together even more closely than friends, but as family. And I hope that we will maintain, I'm sure everyone on this platform hopes we will maintain friendship with all the EU countries, but they're not our family. Our place at the head of the 53 nations of the Commonwealth, nearly 3 billion people, 1/3 of the world's population, is an asset we should be proudly celebrating, and we tend to take it for granted yet these days. Yet so many nations can only dream of such a wellspring of goodwill and positive engagement, trading with countries that use our system of law, our language, and base their institutions, professions, their parliaments, and systems of government on our model. Other nations look to the United Kingdom, again, whatever the movers of this motion will say, other nations do still look to us for leadership. And of course, with greatness comes that extra responsibility. But we have a soft power influence around the world that you could not simply make up. It is there, and it does work. Ladies and gentlemen, there's so much great about the United Kingdom that it's impossible to get into it in such a short time. And I know that Sayeeda will be putting some of the other points, but of course being a great country doesn't mean that we're always right and that we do the right things. And of course, one of them has been mentioned was when we went into the Iraq War. But we have a democracy, and we can oppose it. We can oppose things like that are wrong. And we don't have to like some of the things that governments do. We don't have to like governments, whatever their political ideas are. But we are a country also, and I think this is very important when we're talking to perhaps other countries. We are a country of foibles. We do have some strange customs. One of those customs which endears, I think, visitors to us is our queuing habit. Another one is the way we repeatedly say sorry. I walked from Victoria to Westminster the other day, and I just deliberately counted the number of times that I actually said sorry on that walk. And it's amazing how often we just automatically say sorry. And it's something that, you know, we as a country, we can put ourselves down. We always try to underestimate things. We never exaggerate. We shouldn't exaggerate, but politicians are always exaggerating. But I would say that we on the whole, our makeup is that we don't. We understate ourselves. We don't blow enough of our own trumpet as a country. And of course, we have a monarch that even Will might agree with, actually uses Tupperware. So we have a way of showing that we are not too full of ourselves. No other country can present such a long list of credentials. But I think still that our best days are ahead. And I wanted just also to say very quickly, as a former sports minister, you know, sport is so important in the world, particularly to young people. And many of the sports that have been right across the world, we put the rules there. We set the boundaries. And now and again, we still actually win. And one of the points that I actually think is just very interesting to point out, that of the 10 teams in Formula One racing. 7 are based in the United Kingdom. We have a Premier League of football that's watched, the biggest watched by more people all over the world. We came second in the Olympics in Rio. We came second in the Paralympics, which we started at Stoke Mandeville. And of course, we've got wonderful golfers like Rory McIlroy, I would mention him. And then we've got Eddie the Eagle. And it's that contrast that shows what a great country we are. So let us not be full of doom and gloom. I want to see the next decade of one of hope, optimism, and ambition, using the creativity of all our peoples. So banish the doom mongers, throw out this motion, and celebrate all that is great about this great country. Thank you.
So, after depressive foyist Will, we've had emotional foible-ish Kate. And now we're going to go on to Peter Hitchens, member of the International Socialists.
Not now.
Until 1975.